universe of options to find opportunities that match our personal risk-reward tolerance and our criteria. If you've been tracking a stock and you just want to look at the available married puts on that stock that might match the radioactive trading technique out at least 150 days out in time, risk less than 10%, you might want to use the search by symbol tool. So it will allow you just to put in a stock symbol, select the month that you're interested in having protection until or out in time, and you'll see the available calculations for risk-reward that's available. The insurance tool, if you have a stock that has moved up in price and you want to lock in some of the potential gains, we can use the insurance tool to see which put options we could purchase, how much profit we can lock in, and we can also select to see calls that we could sell against that and turn it into a collar spread right now. We'll get into that a little bit. And then, of course, during your trial, or if you subscribe to the historical tools, you'll have access to the back testing feature. You can search for positions historically, or search for positions historically based on your personal criteria or your saved searches, or you can search historically one stock at a time. I actually did that at the beginning of this presentation, before the presentation started, so I wanted to have an example to go through. All right, now let's access the search menu. When you first click on search, either from the submenu or from the tools pod, you'll be linked into the Smart Search Excel, and this will show you the available trades that match a default criteria. Before we discuss the brief analyzation here, or analyze the results table, let's scroll down below the listed results and take a look at the top of our parameter field. This is where we were going to put in our settings to identify the positions that match our personal risk-reward threshold or our trading style. As you can see, I've started off with the default search RadioActive screen. This is the general criteria that Kurt uses when he's opening up a new RPM. Now, just to review quickly, this is fully discussed in the blueprint why we have these settings available, why they're set in this way. But we're looking for put options for all months of expiration that are at least 150 days out in time, but no more than 900. We're not allowing the puts to go more than 20% in the money. The blueprint discusses there is such a thing as going too deep in the money and taking on too little risk. Our percentage risk is set. We're looking for positions that have a risk between 2.5 and 9%. Again, you might be asking, why is there a lower limit set at 2.5%? And we'll talk about that, because if we go too deep in the money, we can find any stock and potentially go 50% in the money or more and have a risk of only 1%. That sounds great, but then our expectancy of profit would be so low it wouldn't make sense to enter into that position. So that's why we have a lower limit set there in the default screens of 2.5%. Kurt is looking for stocks that trade between $9 and $200. As we scroll further down, the only other criteria that are here, he's looking for stocks that have an average stock volume of 300,000 shares on average per day over the last 90 days. Kurt also prefers to look for stocks in the IBD 100 and Cancelin list, and we're currently looking for stocks down here in the simple moving average field that are trading above their 50-day moving average. So we're looking for stocks currently in an uptrend. So when you first open the search tool and you saw the listed trades, you might have asked, well, how did these results come up? This is why. Over the entire universe of options, all 3,300 plus optionable stocks and ETFs, all 150,000 plus put options that could be used in combination for married put, these 211 positions that are listed at the top, we're only seeing the first 20 organized by lowest maximum risk to highest on the default search. But these are the only 211 married put combinations that match that criteria. When you first open your search menu, if you don't see the RadioActive default listed as the main search, simply click the drop-down menu. You might see an initial value set selected, and then just select the RadioActive default screen. Now, on the main results table, let me just make a quick adjustment. I'm going to go into the See More or Less columns field where you can customize which criteria you wish to view. And I'm going to actually just reset it to the default settings and go ahead and save that. So I'll be looking at the same screen that you might look at when you first open your trial account, or if this is the first time that you're accessing the RadioActive Trading default search in the Married Put menu. So the trades are listed. Basically, we're showing the company name. Here's Al Khan. stock symbol ACL, currently trading at $163.94. It's up about $1.75 today. We're shown that we could purchase the stock and at the same time purchase a February 175 strike put. 171 days out in time. We're in the money. The ask price of this put would be $16, so our total invested into the position would be $179.94. But since we've purchased the 175 strike put, the most we're risking on the position, even if the stock dropped to zero, is only $4.94 or 2.7%. And we see that the position is roughly 6.7% in the money. Now, personally, and many of you have heard me mention this before, I'm not trading with the same portfolio value that Kurt uses for his Fission subscribers, his Fission subscription on RadioActiveTrading.com, where subscribers can follow over his shoulder, and enter the same trades or watch as he makes his trades. He's trading with $100,000. He can afford to look at stocks that are maybe priced at $150, $200 per share. That, however, does not match my personal criteria. I'm only trading with roughly about $35,000. So typically the highest stocks that I look for will be trading at the $65 range. So I'll just go ahead and scroll back down to the parameter field. In the center section is most of my option information. Over on the right-hand side is my stock information of the greater than and less than fields. The original default was looking for stocks between $9 and $200. That doesn't match what I personally look for. I'm going to go ahead and change that to look for stocks between $9 and $65 per share. And then we'll go ahead and click Submit these settings. System now will rerun the search and look for the new positions that identify my new criteria. So now I've taken it down from 211 results down to 146. So now our first result is American Tower Corp, AMT, currently trading at $47.30. We're shown that we can buy the April 55 strike put for $9.30. This will give us a total net debit of $56.60. Since we purchased that 55 put, we're only risking $1.60 or 2.8%. Okay, well, that's interesting, but off the top of my head, I'm not really sure what American Tower Corporation does. I've never heard of it before, actually. So the first thing I'm going to want to do is do further research and analysis on this position. It's great that this has the lowest maximum risk, 2.8%. I know it matched my other criteria of being in the IBD 100 and CanSlim list, of course being in an uptrend as well. But I want to evaluate, is this position something that I would enter? Do I like the stock chart? Do I like the company information? Do I like the sector and industry, for example? So I'll just simply use the More Information button over on the left-hand side. And the first step that I always take is I'll link to Big Charts. And you can customize Big Charts. It's a free charting service, and you can customize it based on the kind of analysis that you might prefer to use. Now, for my chart, what I have selected, you can view it over here on the left, is I've selected a one-year chart. I'm looking at the Bollinger Band, so I have